an audience is going to be good or bad. Good night.
Midnight Choir in session. No word about their current activities either. That's called Idle, though. And the Smithy phone rang in the course of that. Great excitement here in the studio, as you might imagine. Some kind of human contact, but when I pressed the button, whoever it was fled. Terror, unseen terror. This is this is called Divisions. Unseen Terror, and that's from their excellent LP Human Error, which is on Earache Records. Not a bad track on it, I venture. And that one's called Divisions. And this is Bomb the Bass, a record that I've tried to buy on import but failed, which is probably just as well. Saved myself some money because it's now available, and it turns out the people are actually British and proud of it anyway. So this is called Beat This.
Names have been changed to protect the innocent.
5, 4, 3, 2, 1. Thunderbirds are go, 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 go,
Hold it now. Hold it now. What does it all mean?
What do I want?
Everybody in the street, get down to the funky beat.
Keep the frequency clear. This is a journey into sound. Stereophonic sound. Stereophonic sound. Stereophonic sound for dance music. You play Russian roulette this way. Keep this frequency clear.
never said goodbye. Yeah, one night alone don't seem like a long time. Yeah, one night alone, Mabel, don't seem like a long time. But when it's been without you, Mabel, years it's 99. Yeah, look out, Mabel, you swinging much too low. Yeah, look out, woman, you swinging much too low. Come on, kiss me, Mabel, right by the kitchen door. Yeah, look out, Mabel. Oh, come on, Mabel, let's go on down the line. Yeah, come on, Mabel, let's go on down the line. I want the whole world to know, maybe you're my kind of mine. Maybe you're mine, oh mine. Little girl, you're mine.
What a great record that is too. G.L. Crockett, and that's Look Out Mabel. Before that, another fine record from Bomb the Bass. There's a 12-inch of that around as well. That's the 7-inch DJ, whatever it is, mix, I don't doubt, and Beat This, the title of it. Whenever the Smithy phone does ring, actually, it's either somebody phoning in to say something incomprehensible about some aspect of Smithy's programme with which I'm unfamiliar, or it's a fellow called Toby. So Happy New Year, Toby, and thanks for your call. These are the Dragsters, their new single, Rosemary.
She's my girl, she's so wonderful, I love her so, Rosemary. Kisses galore, and I think the whole world of her, Rosemary. Rosemary, she's the girl that I adore. She's Rosemary, and I'm going out tonight. Most of the guys get the lights to talk with one of them, Rosemary. With all the world, so they fun of her like idiots, Rosemary.
There's another mule kicking in their stall, I shouldn't wonder. Those are the Dragsters and their new single, which is called Rosemary. And from Bog Share, a record which should be in the charts, in my estimation. No chance of it being there, frankly, but this is Excellent Girl.
Try to you're wonderful. Toxins into my fingers and we started to swing. I entered the hands of your clock and we were ready. Push up pretty dancers, make me your sponsor. Push up pretty dancers, make me your wonder. Excellent girl, excellent girl, and to my laughter from brother and sister. Excellent girl, switched over as if by magic on a new generator. Excellent girl, what's up, pretty lady? Make me your wonder. What's up, pretty lady? Make me your wonder. Sound, so loud. Sound, so loud. Excellent girl, excellent girl. Excellent girl. You are so rich, I am so poor. You must give me more. You can give me more. Excellent girl, excellent girl, excellent girl, excellent girl. My passion for love, my passion for love. It is not enough. You are just enough. You can give me more. 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 Stand out. Stand out. You can give me more. Yeah, excellent girl. Stand out. 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 Stand up. Stand up. Stand up. Stand up. Way. Stand up. Hey. 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 Nothing you want, sir. You are in love. I am the business. You are in love. I am the business. So glad. You are in love. I am the business. You are in love. I am the business. You are so rich. I am so poor. You must give me more. You can't give me more.
Very good stuff indeed from Bog Share, I think, their current single, which is called Excellent Girl. And while that was going on, I spoke to somebody in Scotland who was asking whether they'd noticed that in recent programmes, a couple of times with sessions, tapes have stopped and then restarted. And this person was wondering whether this was some kind of a cunning device to stop people from recording the things and, making illegal recordings of them. So it's being done for copyright purposes. I would like to pretend that this was the case, but in fact it's due to me pressing the wrong button. I'll try not to do it again, though, honest. Overlord X, and this is X in Effect.
Yeah, I'm down with the X. We're gonna flex, we're not vex. We're gonna put you on the right check. This is the text from the X. You know what I'm saying? The flex on it. Overlord X. Yes, my posse, numerous brothers that's with me. No violence unless it's given. To my posse, the tempers are driven. So come pick my Uzi protector. On my radius, but it won't get you now. Full force military to back. Each one come up posses on tack. The core with a heart before. So tough that my be ignored. All enemies will try to hold it. You got your mind crossed? Oh, for you now. Let in and feel the rope of a posse. On time, on course. I'm a man, understand? I'm a man, I'm a main man. So you give me a hand. London, one big party house. Overlord is gonna kick ass out. But the posse, I've got you lit. The ex-posse, I've got you kicked. I'm the dumb part of the switch. My double is stings. What's for you? Doing prime time out there. We'll give you some fresh rhymes. You know what I'm saying? X. My kingdom is like trouble with anything. You got your mob, the trouble it will bring. Hard for you used to chill like brothers. I remember the time 4 summers ago when a party was back with everybody. From north south, no one to kill a party. But now, the no-brain suckers wanted this just for a body. I was now, my ex-posse not crew are back. A gathering of brothers, so take that, climb. But you ain't getting nowhere. You get the high, or drop back down there. Yo, crush hour, make sure you devour from the power tower. You know the dime. Don't take no job, kick it live. It ain't pop. 87 and 86. Swag, part of my posse. Crush hour, part of my posse now. Mid-range, part of my posse. Sound my fam, from the posse now. Supreme T, from the posse now. Lay small, part of my posse. Fesky Dame, from my posse now. Overlord X is in the posse now. Word up, Sam, my fam, Supreme T. We know you like this, so we will give you some diss. Give them some samples of what we're giving you. Yeah, rock suckers on a mission now. Against the S, get buried down on the ground. Name was known, not forgotten. Unless the powers of the world press a button. Fight for the right of might to be supreme like an eagle in flight. Third World War with nuclear bombs. Fourth World War with sticks and stones. Protect me from others who oppose. Like a shield body X-posse glows. The blows of a cruise always get. If you want some, then you will get. We're mid-range, we ain't forgotten what you got. You're hot, so clock. You're out there, we're coming out live to y'all. Peace, that's it. Overlord X got you impressed. On the street, the Lord is blessed. Hip-hop pumping like never before. Not watered down, but hardcore. The floor, in a pack of death beats. The girls jacking, I feel in my head. Rappers dissing, but I have learned like suckers. By my style, I've done. X-posse, hear the words I say, just do it. The Overlord X way, I down. It's like I'm too proud to obey. We'll just do it the wrong way. Yeah, I'm gonna fetch some flavor, because I'm the man that's gonna give you the favors. I'm down with the X, and my name's the Don, not Ron. You know that. We're coming out loud in the place to be. Overlord, show them some of your flavor. Yo, man, Overlord X going crazy, you're gonna bust back. Yo, man, same dedication to the X-posse in effect. Yo, from East London, y'all. Clock this.
Overlord X, that is, in session. The last, in fact, tonight from Overlord, and that's called X in Effect. Tomorrow night's programme, we have sessions for you from the Bolt Throwers, their first session on the programme. They're a band that we heard on a demo tape. I shouldn't say this because it makes extra work for myself, but it's the truth of the matter. And also a repeat of the recent session from McCarthy. And somebody just phoned up actually to say that they'd been to the Pussy Galore session in London, concert in London last night, and said that they were really very good indeed, as were Loop, who were supporting them. I was very cross that I couldn't go to that, but apparently they're coming back sometime in February, and that'll almost certainly be on a Monday, Tuesday or Wednesday night as well. This next is from Michael of the Dust Devils. It's from Big Black, Every Man for Himself. That comes from the LP God's Favourite Dog, a compilation LP on Touch and Go Records, and must have been issued back in the days when Touch and Go had a London office. It says London N22 on it anyway, and features the Butthole Surfers, Killdozer, Scratch Acid, Hose, Happy Flowers, and as I say, those Big Black, and Every Man for Himself. Now we're back with our guests in session, Midnight Choir, and this is Country Death Clown. One more from them before the end of the programme. That's Midnight Choir in session, and that was Country Death Clown. Now, X-Sample. My Bloody... Oh, sorry, that's a bit loud. My Bloody Valentine, and that comes from the mini LP Ecstasy. The things I miss. Things I miss, actually, are things like going to the pictures and stuff, which last year was a dreadful year from that point of view, because I was so absorbed, really, in an almost obsessive way. It was like having tunnel vision. It was like listening to records and sorting out things to play on the radio. I saw one film last year. This is not good, is it, really? Because, I mean, my entire cultural life is a wasteland, except for the records and demo tapes are concerned, where there's a superabundance of riches. Before that, it was X Sample, and So the Beats Go. And this is from the LP by Slab, Dissension, which I've recommended to you before. This sounds, well, it's obviously slightly Swans influenced, and it may sound to you as though it's at the wrong speed. It isn't. slab in playful mood from the LP Dissension, and that's called The Animals. Was it intended, I wondered when I first heard it, as a tribute to the 60s top pop group, The Animals? And unlikely, I think. They used to go like this. The Sixth Sense tells me that's Australian, though I can find nothing on the record to either confirm or deny it. But it's from Feed Time, and it's called Don't Tell Me. Very good stuff, too. Re-recorded from a compilation LP, they say. It must say where it's made. Hold on, let me just have a look and see if it says actually on the record, anyway. Aberrant Records, it says. I'm sure that's Australian. Anything in the vinyl? Let's have a quick look here. Don't surround yourself with... I can't say that on the radio. Oh, a very nasty moment there. Incidentally, apologies to any of the many thousands of people who were hoping to see me in Edinburgh at the weekend. I was actually driven back by foul weather. I got as far as Wetherby and on the A1, having set out from Bradford, and it had taken me something like 3.5 hours to get as far as there. And to be honest with you, I was getting a bit frightened because there seemed to be so many loonies on the road, so I just turned back to Bradford, so my apologies for not getting there. I'll have another go at a reduced cost later in the year, if you want me to. Pathetic, isn't it, really? Bomb the best for Reedwell, man, and it's because, as I say, I hinted at the beginning of the programme, having once got home, I was then imprisoned by floodwaters, not for the first time this year, and I'm sure not for the last time either, and spent most of yesterday afternoon, actually, in my waders, although, frankly, I might as well have just gone and thrown myself into the stream because I was soaking wet and covered in mud, and I'm afraid much worse, because what I was saying about the defective cesspit was also true, but the less said about that, the better, I think, really. It's the kind of thing you just have to learn to live with. But there I was, in the stream, trying to unblock culverts and things like this, and doing rather a good job, actually. Reduced the water level around the house by about 2.5 feet, just by the simple expedient of unblocking culverts, which brings us to the broad, majestic Shannon from the number 3 LP in the country.
I saw you was down at the Greeks. There was whiskey on Sunday and tears in her cheeks. You sang me a song that was pure as the breeze on a road leading up Glenavee. I sat for a while at the Crescent Finner where young lovers would meet when the flowers were in bloom. Heard the men coming from the fire at Sharon. Their hearts in Tipperary wherever they go. Take my hand and dry your tears, babe. Take my hand, forget your fears, babe. There's no pain, there's no more sorrow. They've all gone in the years, babe. Sat for a while by the gap in the wall, found a rusty tin can and an old hurdy ball. When the cards been dealt and the rosary called and a fiddle playing Shannon and all. And the next time I see you, we'll down at the Greeks. There'll be whiskey and Sunday and tears on our cheeks. We're stupid to laugh and it's useless to bawl by the rusty tin can and an old hurdy ball. Your face, babe.
The Pogues, of course, from, as I say, the number 3 LP in the nation at the moment. That's the broad Majestic Shannon. And now TV Smith's Cheap coming up shortly. And the band is TV Smith, as you might imagine, on vocals, Mick Heslin, guitar, Andy Benny on bass, and Fuzz Denise on drums. And this is called Third Term.
In this land of liberty, there's a risk that the reins of government may bind your wrists. They may wave your freedom in your face like a fist. Say only they can give you this halfway there. Third term, we never learn. Third term, we forget. We always were gluttons for punishment. Well, where's equality? Where's the heart? Two nations, worlds apart. Is the tide turning? Is the prize right? They say it's working. Give them time that way they get a third term. We never learn. Third term, we forget. We always were gluttons for punishment. Well, I want someone who will not waste my vote. I want someone to give me hope. In this home of happiness, where's the fun? They've sold our assets and now they're gone. Don't be poor, don't be young, don't be old, don't be sick. We wanted something better than this, but still we got a third term. We never learn. Third term, we forget. We always were gluttons for punishment. Third term, third term, third term, the third term.
TV Smith's Cheap, and that's the first one from them in session tonight, Third Term. Here's an oldie, Will Bradley and Ray McKinley Orchestra, Beat Me Daddy, A to the Bar.
Oh, beat me, daddy, take to the bar.
In a little honky-tonky village in Texas, there's a guy who plays the best piano by far. He can play piano any way you like it, but the kind he plays the best is A to the bar. When he jams, it's a ball. He's the daddy of them all. The people gather round when he gets on the stand. Then when he plays, he gets a hand. The rhythm he plays puts the cats in a trance. Nobody there bothers to dance. And when he jams with the bass and guitar, they holler, oh, beat me, daddy, A to the bar. A blink, a blank, a blink, blank, blink, blank, plunking on the keys. A rip, a rap, a rip, rap, ripping out with ease. And when he jams with the bass and guitar, they holler, oh, beat me, daddy, A to the bar.
That's wonderful, I think. I love the way the piano comes out of it about sort of 30 seconds from the end. Let me see if I can find that again. My favourite part of the whole record. Just one moment, please. Ah, a golden moment, dearly beloved. That's the Will Bradley and Ray McKinley Orchestra, recorded when I was but 9 months old. Beat Me Daddy, 8 to the Bar. That was in May 1940, in case you can't be bothered to work it out or even care. And I mentioned that because I had the end of last week was strange because I was up in the area where I was born and spent the first 17 years of my life, which is a village called Burton on the edge of the River Dee. And I was up there doing the second of 2 versions of Down Your Way that I've done for Radio 4. And it's odd to return to the place of your childhood and see, as it were, your footsteps gradually being erased, you know, and you find the places that you were familiar with are no longer there or have been dramatically altered and you can't recognise them. So it was a strange weekend from that point of view. And you'll be able to hear the programme in a couple of weeks' time. I shall tell you when, don't you worry about it. 1988, of course, the Muskegon Chronicle, and full of the usual stuff you might imagine. Stocks dive amid fears over reform plans. The state's jobless rate up sharply. Says Governor of Arizona indicted. A strange man he is, if you've read anything about him. Progressive rocker Zappa coming to Frauenthal. Whatever that is. Presumably that's a place in Muskegon. But it is interesting getting these local papers. Don't worry, I'm not going to start reading you huge chunks of it and finding jokey bits and things. Older people are prime candidates to become addicted to drugs, it says. Family and Faith, page 1C. Must read that. And then all the usual incomprehensible sporting stuff and so on. But nice to have these little items. I've got them. You haven't. These are the Clouds. Clouds and Tranquil, a current single on Subway Records. Actually, this is on Subway as well.
I never felt anything like
Another sleeve by the terrible Hilders, who do good work, I always think. From the Subway organisation, a compilation LP called Surfing in the Subway. Those were the Rose Hips, and Something Happened. Also on the compilation, the Chesterfields, Groove Farm, Razor Cuts, Bubblegum Splash, Rodney Allen, and the Flatmates. These are the Fall, and how very pleasant it was to hear Simon play a track from this 12-inch EP earlier. Somehow these things always sound better on other people's programmes. I know that's a silly thing to say, but, I mean, they do to me. You know, it always gives me a lot of pleasure to hear them. Tough Life Boogie. Muslim Gauze, and that's from an LP called Abu Nidal, and that's called Gulf War Part 1. And before that, it was The Fall, and from the current, well, actually it's on the B-side of the 7-inch as well, but from the current 12-inch, Tough Life Boogie. And from TV Smith's Cheap again, I think we'll just call them Cheap from now on, shall we? Because I'm sure that's probably the way that TV Smith would prefer it anyway. Silicon Valley Holiday. That's Cheap and Silicon Valley Holiday, and they've got a gig on, well, they've got lots of gigs actually, but one in January the 28th, the Old Queen's Head, Stockwell in London. And then in February, they're doing one or two gigs with Anne Hrevin and the Parasites. On the 3rd of February, the Old Vic in Brighton. On the 5th, the Mermaid in Birmingham. On the 6th, Anchor, Westward Ho, it says. And on the 8th, Rock City in Leeds. On the 11th, Boardwalk, Manchester. And on the 19th, the Den in Wigan. That's TV Smith's Cheap, or Cheap as they're now known to us, with Anne Hrevin and the Parasites.
Always bring to us a very, very clear and distinct message. And we'd like to share with you a song right now called Swing Down Chariot. I know that you'll be able to understand the words. It's some very, what we wish for. Not here. the desert juniper tree a century to grow.
But I'm a young flesh, running out of control.
Only
Give me what I need back. Give me back your soul. In the turkey shop. Turkey shop. Alright. Alright. But it's always the same, time after time, when you're running down in your pit of slime. Always the same, time after time, when you're running down in that pit of slime. In the turkey shop, the turkey shop. Alright, alright. Get down to those metal blades and throw yourself on the swirling blades in the turkey shop. In the turkey shop. Alright. 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 Young God for young flesh. 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 In the turkey shop. In the turkey shop. Alright. Alright.
Oh, isn't life a puzzle, eh? Don't you find that? Cyclic amp, that is, from a 12-inch on Pro Plus records from last year, actually, which I missed at the time, and that's called Turkish Shop. Before that, it was the Pastels from ever so long ago, and Been So Long. And you'll be pleased to hear, and I hope impressed, that while I was battling against impossible weather conditions over the weekend, trying to get up to Edinburgh but failing, for which if you weren't listening at the beginning of the programme, apologies if you were one of the people who were going to go there, and particularly the people that I was going to meet prior to the Meadowbank match. I apologise for that, but I had no way of getting in touch with you. I hope you'll forgive me. I'm a lot of crawling and creeping in tonight's programme. That's the kind of chap I am, I'm afraid. But I listened to a great number of demo tapes, both there and as I drove back home later, and didn't hear anything, I have to confess, which really fired me very much. But I shall continue. I've got a whole bunch more to listen to as I drive home after tonight's programme. So, you know, the beat goes on. This is for Suman, who was just on the bat phone, whatever it's called. This is the Conqueror.
You know, I used to drive a roller coaster. Delivering nitro? Yes. Were you killed? Uh-huh.
I was on the USA. Genghis Khan said to play the life. I go to sleep and keep up really a spell. And Genghis narrows his eyes to slits as dust blows over the hillside camp. And John Wayne looks to the east and says, join my tribe or you will die. The crew of the valley of death.
Well, what's a chap to think, eh? Those are the very things from their cheap and cheerful days and The Conqueror. I always rather cared for the start of that, actually. The Shen did tell me once what film it came from, but I've forgotten. But I'd like to see it, actually, because here we go, this bit.
No, I used to drive a roller coaster.
Delivering nitro?
Yes.
Were you killed?
Very good. Here's the track style. Oh, TV Smith's Cheap. I keep saying we'll just call them Cheap and then failing to do so, but Cheap is what that was anyway. And that's their first session for us. Luxury in Exile, the title of the piece. Road.